Listen, this one's gonna mess your head up. Everybody knows about the US Census, right? The list that tracks everybody that lives in our country. But what if I told you the government literally changed the race categories every few decades? Like, they were rewriting who was allowed to be who they wanted to be. From the very first census in 1790, all the way to the one that they burnt in 1921. There's a hidden history about how black indigenous people, aka the Negroid Americans, were erased from history. Let's start with the records. The 1790 census, only two categories, white and slave. So right off the bat, no Indian, no black, no colored, no free Negro, no none of that. 1800s to 1810, they added Indian, but only for tax purposes. That means they saw Indians as property or assets, not people. 1820, now we got white, slave, and colored. So wait, where did the Indian go? It was gone, erased. 1830, it has free white persons, slaves, and free colored persons. But they also have something very special on here that I know that a lot of people had missed. It had white persons including the foregoing, which means aliens. But this is another thing that's quite interesting to me. Under the same category, it has slaves and colored persons included in the foregoing. Under the same thing, aliens. So how did you know if a black person coming over here was from Africa or from anywhere else? It just simply named them foregoiners or aliens, but they still label them as colors. 1840, we have free white persons, free colors, and slaves. Basically the same thing from 1830. 1850, we have white, black, and mulatto. 1860, we have white, black, and a new addition, mulatto. Now you remember a long time ago that I told you mulatto, black, and Indian were all synonymous with one another. 1870, we got white, black, mulatto, and Chinese and Indian. So after a couple of decades, Indian finally returns back on the census, but with Chinese. So now anybody with darker skin or Asian features could be called Indian. But why did Chinese appear along with Indian? Was the Asian modification of the Indian? What happened? Large-scale Chinese immigration to America occurred in two main periods. The first wave was between the California Gold Rush of 1849 and the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. And the second significant wave began after 1965 when immigration restrictions were lifted. 1880, we have white, black, mulatto, Chinese, and Indian. So why remove Indian for decades, then bring it back with the Chinese? Well, you should already know. It's because they were changing who fit that category. In the early 1800s, thousands of dark-skinned people, what scientists like Dr. Roland B. Dixon called proto-Negroids, were identifying as Indian. They lived in the South, the Carolinas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, and even Oklahoma. But as more light-skinned and mixed tribes merged in, the government started changing paperwork. Suddenly, dark Indians became black or colored, and when that didn't work, they just erased the label completely. Now here's where it gets wild. The 1890 census, the first one after the Reconstruction, by the way, was the most detailed census. It included quadrone, octoroon, Japanese, Chinese, Indian, black, white, and more. Now here's what makes this census insane. It was also the census where millions of black people were listing themselves as Indian. Then in 1921, the entire census caught fire in Washington, D.C. That's convenient, right? Every other census survived. Only the one showing black indigenous people, gone. They called that an accident. But what are the odds of that? Let's be real. Destroying that census was about identity control. Right after that fire, we got the Racial Integrity Act of 1924. That law made it illegal for dark-skinned people to claim Indian ancestry. If you was a brown-skinned person or officially a Negro, you couldn't identify as an Indian. This meant you couldn't claim land allotments, tribal rights, or ownership. It was legal genocide on paper. They turned the first Americans into foreigners in their own land. You ever notice how Oklahoma didn't even want to take the census for years? But when they finally did, their first one in 1890, something strange happened. The The 1890 Oklahoma Territorial Census was taken, and many black people at that time were labeling themselves as Indians, native to this land. That record could have changed everything we knew about the real indigenous people. But then in 1921, those same census files were mysteriously destroyed in a fire inside the Department of Commerce at Washington, D.C. And guess what else happened at the same year? The Tulsa Bombing, when Black Wall Street was burned to the ground right in Oklahoma. Same year, same state, same people whose records and communities were both erased. You tell me, is that a coincidence or a coordinated effort to wipe away the proof that black people were the original Americans? Every census before 1890 changed their identity labels from Indian to colored, then black, erasing the real names the people had and once called themselves. The 1890 census was our last chance to see the truth, and now it's gone.